Everyone's angry, Paul. Everyone.
It's a little tiring, isn't it?
It's pretty rich coming from us, but
Well, okay, yeah, sure. No, I don't know. I mean, recently there was the conversation about the sub $500 PC thing, which is really freaked out a lot of people.
mhm.
What did that guy say? He said, yeah, no, like I have some kind of a narrative, right? Like in other words, my contention is that there's no such thing as a good sub $500 computer. This is borne out by facts, but there are always people who are like, I don't know, I use a 4 gig, whatever, i3, M3, whatever it is. It's fine. Fine for what? For running the 2 applications you can store in that RAM it's like people take this stuff really personally.
Well,
and then there's this.
Then there's
yeah. And then there's this. Look at that kindly old gentleman.
Yeah. And so this is I think a generational thing. I really do, because my generation grew up with the science teacher grabbing the TV on the top heavy cart that was a walking OSHA hazard.
Yeah, the media cart. Yeah.
Yeah. Dragging it into the room. And then when she didn't feel like teaching, she put on Bill Nye. And Bill Nye.
Why is that, Brad? Why put that gentleman on a TV?
Because he was a scientist. And
he was good. He was good. He could communicate it.
Good TV personality. Mm-hmm. He explained complex scientific topics in a way that children and myself could understand. And then Google just goes and snatches him up for a Chromebook commercial, and everyone is mad.
This whole thing is it's a microcosm of what happens in the broader world around fake news and trolls and people yelling to get the most attention and pushing their weird little agendas and whatever. And it's sad because honestly, all this really is the thing that Google did 4 or 5 years ago, where they had the guys from the Pawn Stars show on. And by the way, for whatever it's worth, like the main character on that show at the time, I don't remember his name, but I actually used to watch this show because I liked his personality, and I thought by the way, obviously, on a show like that where people are bringing in random stuff all the time, and he's like an expert in everything, and he explains what it is. He's, he doesn't know this stuff off the top of his head. They obviously were prepped in advance what was going to come in and that would be on the show and everything, and they researched it. But you know what? That didn't make it any less smart. But for some reason, like, there are 2 things that bother me about this, like the reaction to this. One is that somehow this guy who played some role before is not allowed to now endorse things or make commercials or whatever. But maybe at a more basic level, the second thing really, which I guess is related, is he's just doing a job, right? He's getting paid. Like, this is the people who complained about this guy taking money to sell a product get up in the morning and go to work and get paid to do a job too. I mean, imagine having to undergo the scrutiny. It's like, what are you doing with your life, Brad? You used to be like a science
that every day.
guy.
That's a little heavy.
No, I'm just you. No, because you're there. But I mean, it's just it's so harsh. And then of course the other thing, I guess is the third thing, is the whole platform wars thing that just freaks people out. People are desperate to show that like Chrome OS is a huge failure. Google is desperate. That's why they hired. You always go for Bill Nye when you've hit desperation. He's the Hail Mary, I guess.
Yeah.
I just look. Anyone who knows anything about anything knows that some of the claims about Windows computers in that 3-minute ad or whatever it was are a little overblown. My computer boots up really quick, and it's fair to say that once every 6 weeks, Google releases an update to Chrome OS, and you got to reboot your computer. So I guess they interrupt you sometimes.
Yeah,
not as bad as Windows, but whatever. But my God, like this has gotten really personal.
Yeah. I mean, it's too bad. They made Bill an offer he couldn't refuse. Money, right? I mean, anybody listening to this,
I will show
whatever you want
on TV if they paid me.
Yeah, give me $3 million. I'll show whatever you want. No questions asked.
Well, no, I'll even make it a little more morally sound than that. Yeah, if you gave me $2 or $3 million, I would in fact probably sell anything. But I don't know what he made to do this. I have no idea. Obviously, why would I? But as far as how it is on our site, right? Every once in a while, we have some kind of a site sponsorship, right?
Yep.
And we actually don't do too much of that for whatever reason. But one of the really nice things has been that each time that some company or product came up that we were going to do a sponsorship with, I felt good about it because they were all really good products.
Yep.
We're not selling crap. It's not the it's or pushing crap or whatever. This is stuff that I feel is genuinely useful, and that's a win-win. Sure. And I would not have a problem promoting Chromebooks. Chromebooks absolutely are a win for many many types of users.
Yeah, well, you can even kind of distill it down that if an iPad works for you, a Chromebook will work for you too.
Actually, a Chromebook was probably more appropriate for more users than an iPad as a general purpose computer.
Yeah.
Something you're going to type in and whatever.
Yep.
It's weird. I wish we could get past this. The platform wars are over, guys. It doesn't matter. And by the way, imagine, it's a fantasy world I'm describing here, but if Chrome OS took off and was 90% of the market and blah, 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 whatever, honestly, that wouldn't harm Microsoft much at all, other than the fact that Google could, of course, push their own services more. But Microsoft is fine putting their products everywhere, right? I mean, and I actually have to say, I've been writing this long series of Programming Windows, looking back at stuff from the past I had kind of not really thought about in a long, long time. Microsoft's history started with it supporting every computing platform with all of its products. That was what it did. That was the start of the company. It was only the randomness of IBM needing an OS and Digital Research screwed it up, and Gates was like, I need this contract, we'll just do the OS. There was no design on anyone's part at Microsoft to become DOS Windows in this juggernaut, and so this is kind of a nice return to form for Microsoft. I honestly, God, if you care about technology, you shouldn't care about Microsoft. You should care about technology. You should care about how it impacts you. And you should understand that competing platforms are important because they push the platform you prefer to be better. When there's no competition, you get stuff like Internet Explorer 6. It's just too bad.
Yep. And it all kind of makes sense why Microsoft is building Windows Lite. If they would ship it, that would be beneficial to all of us.
Yeah, that would be nice. Even just a hint or a clue or something.
Well, the bigger thing is if it comes out and it's not.
I know. If it's not exactly a Chromebook or something, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
By the way, if this thing is just a, can you imagine?
Shell.
Just a short, like it's a store thing, It's like, guys, seriously.
Yeah, we need to bring a bottle of like tequila to whenever this event is, and if it looks like it's going downhill, we just pull it out and just start pouring.
I'll stop drinking when you stop talking dumb.
Words to live by, folks.
Yeah.
Words to live by. So anyway, that's the Chromebook stuff going on. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was a good commercial personally. I mean,
I did too. I like that guy, and he's like, he is to science what Alton Brown was actually to science. Alton Brown, I don't know if you ever saw this guy. He was a food TV host. He was fantastic, and he had, he has his own personality, whatever, quirky guy, and his show's always descended into like a science lesson, But how do you complain about something that's educational like that? I mean, and Alton Brown has gone on to do. Actually, he's done advertising. He advertised Welch grapes, if I'm not mistaken. Grapes.
Yeah, he did.
Are actually kind of unhealthy, but whatever.
Grape juice is a little bit of sugar, and by a little bit, I mean
it's worse than Coke, actually. But whatever, that's fine.
Which Coke?
Well, there you go. All of them probably. Although I believe they make Dasani or one of the waters. That's probably pretty good for you. Whatever. The point is, look, I don't know if this guy was apparently a hero to some and is not, or he was always just a fraud and here he is again. I mean, geez, what are we talking about here? Like it's such a crazy thing to discuss.
It kind of is.
I like the guy. I like the ad. I have minor problems with some of the stuff, but of course, it's like the Apple. I'm a Mac. I'm a PC ads. Those were egregiously gross.
Slanted.
I mean, they were just a lot of them were, not all of them, but I mean, a lot of their claims were terrible and wrong. I honestly, by and large, the thing they're selling, the advantages of the Chromebooks, are mostly real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's okay. We if you care about Microsoft and Windows, for whatever reason, your goal should not be to silence this person or this ad. It should be to make sure that Windows is as good in those areas as Chromebook is.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Other, and this is tangibly related. Tangibly. Microsoft's Windows Virtual Desktop is now feature complete.
Yeah. Will it run on Chromebooks?
Well, I'm wondering, what I don't understand from Microsoft is they clearly know that the cloud's the future. They want everything to be based on the cloud. They truly, and we even heard, I think, this term, I think you heard it from even Terry himself many, many years ago, like a cloud OS is what Microsoft truly needs. It's something that is almost running on their servers like a virtual desktop that is just on then the hardware.
I mean, I won't remember this exactly, but Microsoft, before there was a cloud, right? When all of the server activity was on-prem, in some version of Windows Server, I don't remember. There were two paths you could go down for infrastructure, and one was many heavy clients and fewer heavy servers, and the other one was like gigantic data centers, and it was called VDI, like a virtual desktop infrastructure or something.
Yep.
And the idea was that you would be pumping out these virtual desktops to thin clients, and all the processing power would be happening up in the server. But these were all, within the companies, right? I don't mean maybe not necessarily physically in the same building, but this was the companies building out their own infrastructure and delivering those things to clients. Now, that was almost certainly a response to network computing, which was a Sun Microsystems thing and an Oracle thing and whatever. I don't remember exactly, but from the 90s. But I don't think it really went anywhere, right? And so it's possible today, thanks to the cloud, thanks to the internet and broadband and whatever, this could make sense. All the advantages of the cloud applied toward virtual desktop infrastructure. You only you only use the computing resources when you need them.
Call them super thin clients.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a phone. It could be a DeX type desktop environment on a you plug you have I guess where it could be a screen, a keyboard, and a mouse, and a dock or a cable, and you plug in your phone and you virtualize into the desktop, and you're running Windows.
If they're not working on it, we should be.
Well,
yeah,
I'm sure they are
too.
I should say, I don't think this is like the goal, meaning that it replaces everything else, but it's one path. Just like VDI and whatever the other thing was called back 15, 20 years ago, probably. I mean, some companies may want to go in this route. Others will not. To each their own. It's actually very much like the Chromebook thing. That's the point. It's a choice, and you don't belittle it because it's not the thing that meets your exact needs, or because you love some company or some product.
Yep.
I need a kumbaya moment, Brad. I don't know what's going on. It's disconcerting when people are like this.
Tell you what, I am vaguely interested in is the OnePlus TV.
Yeah.
Because one, I'm in the market potentially, eventually, for a new TV. Yep. And OnePlus is known for making really high quality hardware at really cheap prices.
The problem, though, is distribution and where would you buy this thing, right? So this is well, how do I say this? It's a small company in a way. Yep. It's actually owned by a much bigger Chinese conglomerate of some kind. But OnePlus doesn't have a lot of distribution points, even for their phones, although that's improved. They need to get into Costco and Best Buy and wherever else in the United States. You don't buy something like that off the web. You need to go see it.
Yeah, I mean, because kind of the benchmark right now is about $500 for a 55-inch 4K TV, and
what's the company now? It used to be Vizio, it was like the low end king, but now I don't really walk in.
Oh, there's a ton of them now. There's a ton of just random.
And it's
brands
all like HDR, and they have curved screens if you want it, and it's incredible what you can get for
just a couple $100.
Under $1,000 anyway. Yeah, 500 to 1,000 in there. It's crazy.
Good quality TVs if you want them.
Yeah.
And then the last kind of thing on the agenda is if you're running the Edge developer build. It's now got a whole bunch of dark theme stuff. They fixed a lot of the video improvement video bugs that were in the last build. So that's all fixed.
I just brought up well, actually, I just brought up several computers, whatever. But on one computer, I had to use Chrome. I always install Chrome first because you still can't, it doesn't do all the syncing yet. So I have to bring up Chrome first and then bring in everything from Chrome, and then it works. But on one of my computers, I couldn't get, I'm using the the Canary version. I couldn't get it to successfully install extensions from the Chrome store, which is where I usually get them. And it was the first time I'd ever seen that. I wonder if this is something. I should look at that again. I wonder if they fixed it. It seems like kind of a nightly thing.
Yeah, they very well may have. So, you got anything else for today, Paul?
No, I'm just going to hope that one of my heroes doesn't make an ad for some product that some people don't like, and then we have to defend his character, because that's what my site is about. Sorry. I don't know. You got to like the duct tape bumper there.
It is. I mean, that's with the
right?
Windows. It's
by the way, I've complained to you this very week. The screen I'm looking at now, which is gorgeous. It's a 27-inch 4K HP. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's attached to an all-in-one computer, which it just looks like the base of the monitor. It's a very small computer. I've had this problem for months and months and months, where I wake up in the morning and I wiggle the mouse or hit the key, and the screen does not come on. The computer's back there. You can hear sounds and whatever. So if I have like documents open or whatever, I have to pull the power button down. I have been trying to fix this for months. And when I got back from Europe last weekend, I blew the system away. I did a clean install, not the HP image, the Microsoft clean image. It's just it's happening again, And I've done everything. Like I turned off the ability it doesn't go into sleep or anything. That doesn't help. I can configure it so that the screen never shuts off. And I actually turned on a black screensaver. When was the last time you used a screensaver in Windows, by the way? It's a fun little activity for the listener. Try to find where that is. The screensaver settings. They're in there somewhere. They're in the theme part of it. Doesn't matter. But it doesn't really turn off the screen, right? So you can still, there's light emitting from the screen. I don't want to hurt the screen.
Right.
But it's Windows.
Yeah.
It's Windows. I mean, how can you pretend otherwise? Are we really gonna? I mean, I love it. It's the best. I still think it's the best thing out there. It's not perfect. Duct tape. Maybe I should try duct tape.
Yeah. Or you could use Gorilla Tape, which I have a friend who works there because it's made in Cincinnati. So
it's not made of gorillas.
No, I think that would be. Oh God, I've got a good story about this. So, I was going to say, we will end on this high note. So, thanks for Paul pointing out. I got my haircut like 2 days ago or whatever. Thanks for noticing.
I'm actually desperately overdue for haircuts, so I'm trying not to look at hair right now. But
anyway, so my kid was home with me earlier this week, first day of school today. Anyways, so this was Monday, I think, and so I needed to get my haircut. And she was with me, and I took her to the barber shop, and like they have some like highlights magazines. Like taking a kid there isn't like some sort of unprecedented thing. And so, I mean, she's being great. Like I'm getting my haircut, I'm just watching her, I'm talking to the barber, and then I look over at her, and she has this like look on her face. I'm like, oh no, she's looking at a hunting magazine.
Oh, yikes!
And she comes home like soon as my wife walks through the door, she's like, "Mommy, do you know they have magazines with dead animals in them?" And I looked at them. I was like, "Yep."
Wow.
Yeah.
So when are you getting divorced?
I don't know. I haven't seen my wife in a couple days. We'll find out. So yeah, that was fun. She learned that people actually shoot animals for.
There were worse magazines.
Yeah.
Are there? Maybe not. No, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, this is a kid who gets upset about people knocking down trees to expand the highway. So.
That's a legitimate concern, actually.
Yep. So there you go. All right, folks, that wraps it up for today. We will be back in the near future. Should be tomorrow, as long as the world doesn't come to a screaming end.
Bill Nye.